Good to see you too. Well, looks like we're going to have a takeoff of the aircraft that back a number of years ago won a competition. Back in the 1990s, the Air Force and the Navy were both looking for replacements for their primary trainers, and they came up with a winner. They called it the J-Patch program, and you can see the aircraft taking off now with the smoke system on. And John, I'm going to turn it right over to you, sir.
Well, in the cockpit today, you've got Mike Game Show in Rambo there. He's going to pull up here at the end of the runway and do an slow speed aileron roll right there at the end. And continue his climb up for an enter on the downwind side.
The Joint Primary Air Training System competition pitted a number of different aircraft manufacturers against one another to come up with the right airplane to train pilots to fly high-performance jets and other airplanes for the Navy, Marine Corps, and the Air Force. And Hawker Beechcraft won it big time, and this has turned out to be one of the biggest wins for the American military ever, if for no other reason than its reliability.
That's a fact. The aircraft on a fleet has about 1.7 million flight hours in the United States Air Force, United States Navy. And right now the Air Force is saying it's the safest trainer they've ever had in Air Force history.
Now it's powered by a turboprop engine. That's a jet engine that turns a propeller. Has some good reasons for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, the biggest reason being fuel efficiency and low maintenance costs. The life cycle costs on this airplane are about a third of the aircraft that it replaced.
Now I was hearing from Game Show that that the aircraft that this aircraft that you and he took around the world was so amazingly reliable that you didn't break almost anything on the entire 160 some hours of flight time on around the world trip.
Right, around the world, 22,000 miles. We changed one light bulb, one set of tires.
That's it?
That's it.
Smoke is on. Look to the right, ladies and gentlemen, as Game Show with the T-6 Texan II flies in here. Again, that's Michael Rambo in the T-6 Texan II. What's he going to do for us, John?
Well, first he did a dive similar to that you would do an attack pass with an attack aircraft that's tossed to. He'll climb up here, do a vertical roll, and come around, do another one in the other direction.
Watch him as he comes over the top. A quick aileron roll on the upline. Now he'll do a modified 1/2 Cuban A. Watch him as he comes over the top. I'm assuming he's going to roll the aircraft upright. And he does that with 2 points of a 4-point hesitation roll. This airplane looks fast. How fast will it go, John?
It'll do about 365 miles an hour.
365 miles an hour. That's in, for the aviators, 300 knots, right?
About 316 knots.
316 knots. That's fast in anybody's book. And the vertical climb rate is phenomenal. And the fact that while he's in the climb can do rolls like that just speaks to the efficiency of the design and just how powerful that engine is.
Yeah, you notice that stability-wise, the smoke trail is kind of a tell-all as I watch him, that the airplane's nose hasn't tracked at all as he rolls around.
He'll extend out to the left-hand side of the box, pull up, experiencing about 4 times the pull of gravity on that upline.
Yeah, between 4 and 5, so Mike will be about between 800 and 900 pounds during the pull.
This is the classic 1/2 Cuban A, a maneuver that has its history dating back to 1936 at the Miami Air Races, when the late Len Povey was too low at the top of a loop to complete it successfully. So rather than making a smoking hole in the ground, he did 5/8 of a loop, went up right, did the same thing the opposite direction, and it painted a figure 8 in the sky. Now what we've just seen on this one is an Immelman, which goes back...
Actually, he did a loop with a roll at the top.
Oh, he did a loop with a roll at the top. Okay, he did a half an Immelman. He did an Immelman and then rolled it over and pulled through with a full roundhouse loop with a roll on the top. I was going to say the Immelman goes back even farther than 1936. Goes back to World War I.
That's correct.
Now, this time, he's rolled it on the 45-degree upline with a reverse 1/2 Cuban A.
That's correct. And we're coming in for the 4-point roll. Here again, notice how the airplane's so stable. Mike's able to keep a nice straight line right across show center. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
90 degrees of rotation. rotation, very precise. Is the airplane easy to fly?
It's easy to fly, but it's difficult to fly well, which makes it a very good trainer, so you can separate the wheat from the chaff.
Now, what do you mean difficult to fly well? What does that mean?
Well, in any airplane, to get it fly exactly precisely takes a certain bill of innate skill that can become evident in the student trainers for the Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard, and the Air Force that are training on it right now. In fact, you just saw a slow roll there. It's one of the more difficult maneuvers in any aircraft that Mike did.
Some of the best aerobatic pilots in the world have said that if you can master a slow roll, you can do about any aerobatic maneuver there is, because it takes such great coordination between the stick and the rudder to maintain the line as you go without losing altitude and making a mess of the airplane on the ground.
That's right, Rob. Game Show's coming back in here for an inverted pass. He'll roll the airplane upside down and then make a wave to the crowd at Show Center. You can go ahead and wave back. Since the canopy's facing you, he'll be able to see you. And then he'll continue back.
There's another Texan pilot by the name of Bill Leff, who flies a Texan with the original Texan from back in 1943, the Air Force's T-6, and he flies an inverted to inverted maneuver too, but he can't stay upside down too long because it'll starve the engine, and that 9-cylinder 600 horsepower radial engine will quit. What about this one?
Well, this one, the fuel system designed to stay inverted for a full minute. So it's not a problem.
That'll hang you from the straps for a while, won't it?
It gets a little uncomfortable, yeah. Coming in for the knife edge pass at 350 miles an hour. Have your cameras ready to get the top of the aircraft.
Look right down into the office. Watch for the nose to come up a bit, and goes right into knife edge flight. No lift being developed by the wing at all. How about that? How about a big round of applause for Michael Rambo, call sign Game Show. Now the original T-6 Texan II, taking that great name of Texan, which was the pilot maker in World War II. It was what they call a steam gauge airplane. It had round dials, I think. Now what was the change from the T-6-2A to the B model? What changed?
Actually, we changed the avionics completely. There's a heads-up display and a completely integrated cockpit with a simulated weapons drop and the air-to-air engagement simulator for advanced training for the students.
So the T-6 with the heads-up display, it's like a modern fighter which displays right on a piece of glass in front of the pilot so he or she can see his airspeed or altitude, G's, direction, attitude, the whole shooting match without having to look down at the panel. Better for situational awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, that very much so. In fact, it makes it a very competent trainer. The Moroccan Air Force is using the airplane right now to go from the T-6C, which is with the hardpoint wings, straight to the F-16.
Now there's a C model as well, and that's the C model. Tell us a little bit about what that's for.
Yeah, the C model has hardpoints under the wings for more practice and extended range with a wet wing there. Take some fuel tanks. The airplane will go about 1,700 miles with a set of external tanks. That kind of helped us get around the world. We also have another model, the AT-6, in which case we took this airplane and added the A-10C mission computer inside and found out that the stability and ruggedness of this airplane, combined with a great weapons delivery platform, we're measuring our accuracy in inches. So what started out to be a new primary trainer for both the Air Force and Navy is now evolving and developing into a light attack aircraft? That's correct.
Now, would that serve our military well, or is it designed primarily for other smaller countries?
It's designed for countries that need to have an attack platform that doesn't bother the neighbors that you had.
And as you can tell, it's very, very quiet airplane. Well, John Data Rand, okay, tell me, where did you get the call sign Data?
That's kind of a long story. We'll have a beer over that, Rob, and I'll tell you that. It's been a pleasure.
It's good to see you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to John Data Wren and also Mike Game Show Rambo and the Beechcraft T-6 Texan II. Let's give him a nice round of applause, everybody. Thanks, John. Additional support of our Big screen Jumbotron coverage is provided by the new IMAX film Air Racers 3D. Air Racers 3D opens May 25th at the Lockheed Martin IMAX Theater in the National Air and Space Museum here in Washington. Experience the intensity and high-speed thrills on the theater's 6